Hello everyone, welcome to Bank of America Stadium here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm Edward Green here, Clint Williams on the camera. We're going to be bringing you some of the sights and sounds from today's final preseason game for Carolina as they take on the Pittsburgh Steelers from the AFC. We're going to hope to be bringing you some interviews, some on-the-field action, as well as some great crowd shots. So let's get right to the action on this special presentation of Carolina Panthers football on WHIG TV. As you guys can see, the crowd here on the field at Bank of America Stadium is going nuts behind me. They are really ready to see the Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Carolina Panthers. This is how it is a lot of times during pregame. A whole bunch of people coming down here, but you got such a big range from people who know somebody to big contributors to even some players and crew. So that's what you got, the kind of atmosphere here in Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. To give Panthers fans more access during pregame, a camera is placed in the locker room to give fans an intimate look at preparations the players make before coming out onto the field for warm-ups. More than an hour and a half before kickoff, the wide receivers and tight ends, including David Geddes and Brandon Williams, come out to get some reps in. All right, guys, we are now joined out here with Pete Kennedy, sideline reporter for Panthers TV. Thanks so much for joining us today. Just tell the folks at home a little bit about the Panthers upcoming season and also a little bit about what you do on game days.
You know, I've been around this team since when they were just an idea, so I've been around them enough. I get a sense each preseason what the team's going to be like. I feel incredibly confident this year. I felt confident last year, but again, injuries are something you can't control. When you lose an all-pro center out of the get-go, a standout linebacker, John Beeson, basically for the last 2 seasons, you're still counting on some pieces to fit in, but I truly believe if this team stays healthy. It reminds me a lot of the summertime of 2003.
That was a good year.
The year that led to a Super Bowl. So I'm confident that they do have some questions in their secondary that with the 4th preseason game against Pittsburgh and maybe even into the first couple of weeks of the regular season, they still need to answer those. But for the most part, this is a wonderful opportunity I have during the preseasons. I talk to the folks during games on the sidelines and have a lot of fun doing it.
We'll talk a little bit about then your history here and what you've been doing. Like you said, you've been with it since it was just an idea. How have you seen this grow?
Well, I've lived in the Carolinas since 1985. So even though I grew up in a different part of the country, I feel like a Carolinian more than anything else. It's been my pleasure to be in the upstate of South Carolina, the Greenville, South Carolina area since 1990. And I was covering the Panthers, as I said, when they were just an idea, when Mr. Richardson and his family were holding a lot of different news conferences and so forth. I was there in Chicago, October 26, 1993, when the franchise was awarded. I've been there for many of the neat moments. It's just really neat for me to see this whole thing and where it's been and where it's going. And frankly, I'm as impressed with the organization, the things people don't see behind the scenes. It's a great organization, and they do great.
Well, you know, Mr. Richardson has that Nash County connection, being from there.
Yes.
You actually mentioned you knew a little bit about Rocky Mount.
Oh, yeah. Been there a little bit. Used to work about 2.5 hours south of there, but I would drive through there either heading up to the Northeast or I've been over to East Carolina to cover events and gone, in fact, when I've gone to East Carolina recently from the upstate of South Carolina, times I'll go through Raleigh and then, cut right there near Rocky Mount. So, yeah, I know the area well, great area. And, what more can you ask? You're right on 95. You can get anywhere in a hurry.
Thanks so much for joining us here today. Best of luck to the Panthers this season. We'll be following them. And hopefully maybe they can repeat the 2003 and even end it a little bit better than that one, too.
That's right. Should be a lot of fun. Really appreciate being here.
Thanks so much. As you can see, this is what they got going on here at Bank of America Stadium. Panthers television broadcasting every Panthers exhibition game. And they, of course, will be doing the radio once the NFL picks up into the regular season. But this is what you can see if you're watching on at home. Third-year coach Ron Rivera came out onto the field to assess how his team was doing during warm-ups. Rivera has shown signs of turning this team around and feels this year's team gives him his best chance of making the playoffs. Not to be outdone, the Steelers took the field to a raucous ovation from the impressive amount of Pittsburgh fans in Charlotte. Geddes is one of the wide receivers fighting for a spot in the Panthers' last preseason game, and as he and the other wide receivers begin their warm-up drills, they are joined by a familiar face. Number 89 himself, Steve Smith, joined his teammates on the field to help with warm-ups. Knowing he was not going to be active in the team's final preseason game, the five-time Pro Bowler came out in the uniform more befitting a coach. Although he was inactive, Smith still provided instruction to the wide receivers, including Geddes, with their route running and pass catching techniques, something the three-time All-Pro is more than happy to do. With the entire Panther team out on the field taking part in warm-ups and stretching exercises, it was time to catch up with another member of the Panthers broadcast team, Spanish-language play-by-play broadcaster Jamie Moreno. All right, we're with Jamie now. He does the Spanish-language broadcast for the Carolina Panthers. Jamie, what are you seeing so far from the Carolina Panthers this year?
Well, I think so far, I think it's been impressive defensive-wise. Offensive-wise, I think we have some questions, but it's normal at this time of the preseason. I always say that the defense get together faster than the offense. So we'll see. Today is the last test, and we're ready for next week to receive the Seattle Seahawks.
All right, and Jamie, can you say hello to the people in Rocky Mount in Spanish?
Absolutely. Muy buenas noches, amigos de Rocky Mountain. Un saludo de su amigo Jaime Moreno de los Haces del Touchdown.
We were able to catch a glimpse of Panthers owner Jerry Richardson on his club car during pregame warm-ups. At the entrance to the Pittsburgh Steelers tunnel, the anticipation began to build as Steelers fans were moments away from seeing their team rush out onto the field. Led by head coach Mike Tomlin, the roar for the team was sensational. Of course, not to be outdone, the Carolina Panthers cheerleading squad, the Top Cats, came out to get the Panthers fans in attendance even louder. The Top Cats are a group of 26 women from all parts of North and South Carolina. They range in age from 21 to 36 years old and have diverse backgrounds, including the fields of engineering, dentistry, teaching, and marketing. Just before the team was introduced, one of the more unique aspects of the Carolina Panthers, their percussion section, came out. The percussion group, in conjunction with the Top Cats, helped bring a party atmosphere to the pregame introductions. And now here's a taste of what being on field is like as the Panthers prepare to come out of the tunnel. With the Top Cats back in position on the sidelines, it's time to start the game. Landry Jones would start a quarterback for the Steelers, and here would hand the ball off to LaRod Stevens-Howling, who would pick up his biggest rush of the night. A 17-yard run up the middle that put the Steelers in Panthers territory. That big run would set up a Steelers touchdown when just a few plays later, Landry Jones would find tight end David Paulson over the middle as he made his way into the end zone for a Pittsburgh score. After that Steelers score, the Panthers defense would huddle up to make some adjustments. Those would prove to work as Jones would not throw another touchdown pass in the game, finishing 16 of 35 for 189 yards and 3 interceptions. As for the Panthers offense, with starter Cam Newton sitting in the final preseason game, it would be Derek Anderson's turn to take snaps at center. On this play, Anderson would bring wide receiver Ted Ginn Jr. in motion from the near side of your screen as he performed a play-action rollout and a jump pass to hit Ginn for a big play. Moments later, running back Armon Smith would make his presence felt as he picked up a nice chunk of yardage. Smith finished the night with 25 yards on 11 carries.
Number 36 Armon Smith on the carry. Tackled by number 97 Cameron Hayward.
With the Steelers back on offense, Landry Jones would try this play-action pass to catch the Panthers napping, but cornerback Josh Norman broke up the play. Norman would be active again here as pressure by the Panthers' front line moved Jones out of the pocket. Norman put the finishing touches on Jones as he was forced to throw the ball away.
Gain of 10 yards, and that's another Panthers.
As mentioned, Cam Newton rested this game. Newton finished the preseason throwing for 227 yards and 1 touchdown in limited time. Back on the field with the Panthers offense just before halftime, and Derek Anderson is trying to lead a drive to increase the Panthers' 14-10 lead. On this play, Anderson would be flushed from the pocket, but used his mobility to find Brenton Burson for a big catch that put the Panthers inside the 10. The Panthers had 3 tries to get into the end zone, and Armon Smith almost got in on first down as he was stopped at the 1. On second down, it looked like Smith would get in. However, he was ruled down just short of the goal line, which prompted a challenge from head coach Ron Rivera. Fans got a shot of the replay on the monitors, and the head official went under the hood of the instant replay booth to see for himself. The call was upheld, and on third down, the Panthers tried once more to punch it in. However, the Steelers' defense held and Smith was stopped. The Panthers settled for a field goal and a 17-10 lead at the half. When we come back, more sights and sounds from Charlotte. Edward Green back here at Bank of America Stadium, and even though it is halftime, the action doesn't slow down as the Top Cats keep the fans entertained, t-shirts are tossed, and giveaways are held. We were joined at halftime with Carolina Panthers team president, Danny Morrison. All right, guys, it's halftime out here at Bank of America Stadium, and we're now with Danny Morrison, president of the Carolina Panthers. In your 5th year, Danny, how's the product looking on the field?
Well, it was a good first half. It certainly was nice to see Ted Ginn get behind everybody on 2 of those, and the throws were right on the money. So good first half. So we're excited about the season. We're excited about the first regular season game coming up against a really good Seattle Seahawks team.
Well, in your role as president here, you were overseeing a $112 million renovation to Bank of America Stadium. Tell the guys at home a little bit about that.
Well, we'll get started after this season, and we only have a 6-month window to get all the work done, so we got to be buttoned up and ready to go. Scott Paul runs our stadium and has been working on all of the things that we're going to try to do in the off season. We're definitely going to do escalators, and if we can make it work in a 6-month window, we'll also be doing new video boards and ribbon boards on both levels, as well as a new sound system. So we got a lot of work to do to make sure we can execute it.
But it sounds great. And also, you were once the athletics director at Texas Christian, the commissioner of the Southern Conference, and now you're the chairman of the NFL subcommittee on college relations. Talk about how your experiences at the college game has kind of helped you to lead this subcommittee.
Well, I loved all my work with in college athletics. It was great to be at Wofford, great to be at with the Southern Conference and at TCU, and so it's a nice marriage between the NCAA and the NFL, and we try to work well together on things.
Well, talk about some of the stuff you do with that committee. That's got to be some fascinating stuff.
Well, a lot of the things, we've tried to do some things from an officiating standpoint to make the game even safer, and there's been a lot of work on that, as you know, in the NFL and also in the college ranks. So that's an important thing, and just one example of trying to work together.
Okay, well, great. And also a native of Burlington. Yeah. So what's it like to be kind of here back at, in Charlotte with the Carolina Panthers?
Well, we love it in Charlotte, love the Carolinas, and it's just great to be working with the Panthers and working with Mr. Richardson, who is, as you well know, one of the most respected owners in all of the NFL, if not the most respected.
Well, absolutely. Danny, thank you so much for having us here tonight, showing us around Bank of America Stadium. It's a great place, and thanks so much for talking to us today.
Great. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Just after speaking with Mr. Morrison, the main event of halftime arrived. It was the high-energy acrobatic group, the Chicago Boys, who came to Charlotte to perform. The Chicago Boys were featured on this season of America's Got Talent. Gymnast Marshall Ballard stopped on his way in to talk with us. So we're out here with the Chicago Boys, just pulled in. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
We've been around for 20 years. We do a lot of halftime shows. We're great at what we do. We do a lot of shows, 500 shows a year.
What do you guys do during your shows?
Gymnastics.
That's pretty cool.
Acrobatics.
And what do you do specifically?
I'm a professional gymnast, so I do all type of gymnastics and excite the crowd, and I love a big crowd.
Marshall got exactly what he wanted as the Chicago Boys entertained the crowd in Charlotte with a variety of jump roping and trampolining acrobatics. Once the Chicago Boys finished up, it was time for the teams to retake the field so they could begin the third quarter of action. Top Cats cheerleaders got one more routine in before the start of the second half, as the defense for the Panthers got some last-second adjustments before heading back out. Jimmy Clausen came on in relief of Derek Anderson in the third quarter. Clausen went 5 of 8 for 26 yards, and despite not throwing a touchdown, the Panthers held on for a 25-10 win. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us here tonight from Bank of America Stadium. It's another great Carolina Panthers win, and thank you so much for watching it here on WHIG TV. For everybody here, Clint Williams on camera, I'm Edward Green. Have a great day.